All right, y'all. Hopefully you can hear me all right. I don't have anything to hold my phone in here. It's actually my father-in-law's truck. We're going to the woods today to cut and get ahead and limb up and all that fun stuff. And he burns wood in his shop, so I'm driving his dump truck to bring him a load of wood back. So anyway, this is going to be just a talking video and something that if y'all don't know, I work for my dad in the logging. And so naturally, all along, it's been the plan for me to take it over one day, and all that stuff, and the family business, and all of that. But I've seen it for a long time, and I've told him, it's going to be hard on me to make it because my generation sucked. I'd say a good 80, maybe higher percent of my generation don't really work. They probably have a part time job or something like that. But, a lot of them, they don't have anything. They still live off of mom and daddy or the government. But I think finding labor is going to be a major issue. And, for the longest time, it's just been, my dad, which is older, he's in his early 60s. And the guy that runs the loader for us, he's in his 60s. And the guy that was running the skidder was in his 50s. And he ended up quitting. And we got my buddy Joey come and run the skidder. He's a little bit older than I am. I think it's probably 7 years in between us. But, it still leaves a loader and one uh, truck driver that's older. And it's going to be hard to find to replace them because logging is a hard job and it's a hard life. It's a lifestyle. Logging, if you're going to make any money, you got to roll. You got to do as much as you can every day that you can work. A lot of times, especially in the wintertime, that ends up being daylight to dark. And, sometimes on Saturday to catch up and help out. Now, if we were cutting pine, we probably wouldn't have to work on Saturday. If we did, we could haul loads and stuff like that. But, in this hardwood, the mill's not open on Saturday. And it takes so much time and so much effort to limit up to where you can put it on the truck that it really slows the production down, during the days that your normal work days. So I know labor is going to be a big problem for me in the future. That, and I'm probably going to be one of those that's harder to work for. Not that I'm hard to get along with or anything like that, or at least not in my opinion. And maybe should have waited till later on in the day to make this video. I can't get my throat clear, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I'm not the kind that stand around and bark out orders. I mean, I do what needs to be done, but I expect everybody else to pull their weight and sometimes then some too. I mean, I'm the kind, I work 12, 14, 16, 18 hours a day. I have worked as much as 20 hours a day. Just, what it calls for to keep the wheels going. And I'll be honest, um, another big weight on my shoulder is trying to turn this business around. It's been going downhill for a long time. We hadn't been getting a lot of loads out like we need to. We've been having a lot of breakdowns and stuff. And for the last few years, until I got my CDL back and bought the truck, it was only Pop driving. So he couldn't get but a couple loads a day. But hopefully we're turning all that around now. And, you know, with that being said, that means we're going to have to hustle a little bit harder than everybody else, or what would be normal if, we were back to doing pretty good. So, yeah, all that considered, another thing, too, is him growing up in his generation. He had people that, worked and did other things, useful skills. He knowed a couple guys that worked on stuff that, some worked on them old Detroit, some worked on a little bit of everything and all that, and they would help them out and wouldn't charge them an arm and a leg. Uh, we always bought our fuel from Foster Fuel, still do, and he would bring you fuel, out in the woods like that, and let you charge it for, a week, couple weeks, whatever, where a lot of these other fuel companies, it's pay on delivery, it's no charge at all. And there was another guy that had a tire shop that would help him out on tires, let him be able to charge there and pay and, do the recaps and all that kind of stuff. Just a whole lot of things back there then that, helped the business to go that he had help with, that I'm not going to have anybody that, takes up the mantle. Now, there is a boy about my age that's really good at working on stuff. He's a good mechanic, and we've got him to do stuff for us, and, I'll have him to come on. But as far as the tires and stuff like that, I don't know. And, the fuel thing, hopefully that stays as it is, because Foster's is a big, successful business. So I hope they stay in it, keep doing like they're doing. Now, the tire shop I was talking about, business too, but the guy got old and, kind of retired out or stepped out or whatever you want to call it, and somebody else is running it. And of course, they come in, with new ideas and new this and that, and they're going to do it their way, just like everybody does, but they pretty much cut the credit deal out. So, anyway, but I'm going to do my best, make a go of it, even if I have to work by myself. And it's really all I know, and honestly, all I want to know. I have helped out my father-in-law some. He's got a auto repair shop, and he said anytime I need a job or whatever, I come work with him because he likes the way that I hustle. I don't know everything about mechanicing, I know enough to get by, but sometimes I'd help him, and 8-hour day, I may only have 4 or 5 cars to do something with if you have a really slow day, I can't do the higher up stuff. I don't have an inspection license. I can't run the alignment machine and work all the sensor machines and, complicated stuff like that. But putting on alternators, putting in batteries, oil changes and tire changes and stuff like that, I can handle that. So, I mean, a lot of days, like I said, it's just slow like that. I'm not going to stand around. I'm going to do my best to try to find something productive. I mean, I bet one day up there I probably swept a floor 20 times, and it's only so many times that you can sweep a floor to doing good. But doing that, cleaning up the tire machines, you know, cleaning up oil spots out the floor, taking out old tires, taking out the trash, cleaning up the tools, and just, something to stay busy. It's something that doesn't really mean a lot for production, but it does keep a better work environment. And I tell you, the main thing that it does, it shows work ethic. And you can do that anywhere, in any job. People can tell, you know, when you go get a job or whatever, people can tell your personality and your work ethic. They can tell if you're the kind that'll hustle and do whatever needs to be done and don't complain and just an all around good worker. Even if you ain't the smartest or the most knowledgeable for whatever trade you're doing, you've got the work ethic and the attitude. And a lot of times that'll get you or keep you a job more than the guy that knows everything. They can tell if you're the kind that is only going to do the bare minimum. And in all honesty, if you're the kind that only does the bare minimum, when they need workers and they need help, you can probably get by. But when things get tight and they need to start cutting costs or cutting people, you're going to be one of the first ones out the door. And that's my opinion on that. Like I said, logging is a hard lifestyle. We work in extreme heat, extreme cold, sometimes in the snow, a lot of times in the rain and the mud. The bad part about a rainy day is it's not just a rainy day. You got one day of rain and a week of mud before it dries back out. We're a smaller crew, so that means when something breaks down, we got to work on it. If it's something in our skill range, something we can do. A lot of times that's a busted hydraulic line, and that is nasty work. A lot of times it's all up to your elbows or up to your knees, and it don't come off very well. Usually that happens on extreme hot or extreme cold days. That's when it has the most potential to break, and that's when you are the least likely to want to fix it. But that's when it happens. And a lot of times in logging, if somebody doesn't show up, then you got to take up the slack and cover their job. It's like yesterday, our loader man is real dependable. He's always there, but his truck broke down yesterday, so he couldn't get there. So when I got, out of the chip mill hauling, I come back and, started loading. Luckily, I had a little bit of wood on the ground, so I didn't really have to cut. And my dad limbed up and stuff, so we got a couple loads out like that. And it's not as efficient, it's not as productive as if everybody's there. Logging is the kind of thing that you need everybody all the time because it's my wife works up at that auto shop, in the office as a secretary and doing other things and stuff like that. But she's seen, people logging around and seeing us and all. And it fascinates her how every piece works together. The cutter cuts trees, the skidder goes down and get it, and the loader comes up there and loads it, and the trucks haul it. It's not one of those, everybody always wants to say, "Oh, I got the most important job. I run a loader. If I don't load it, nobody gets paid." Or the skidder, "Oh, I got the most important, hardest job. If I don't pull them up there, you can't load them." And the cutter, "Oh, I got the hardest job. If I don't cut them, y'all can't do neither one." But in all honesty, it ain't no most important job. And as far as I'm concerned, one's not harder than the other. Uh, I'm used to running the cutter. That's my main deal. But I can run the skidder and I can run the loader and I can drive a truck. And in my opinion, I don't see where one is no more work than the other. They're all pretty much the same. And it's a really teamwork based thing to really get the best out of a day, make the most out of a day. Everybody has to work together like symbiotically. It's just like a body. The hand ain't more important than the foot. Everything's got to work together or nothing works. And anyway, I think that's enough of my rambling. Maybe y'all get something out of it, but just thinking about the future ahead.